I'm Luke Summerhays.
I'm James J. Miles.
And I'm James the Jester Stewart.
And you're listening to Monster Mash.
And on this week's episode, we are hunting the Quematrice.
Wild flame, you make my heart sing. You make the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did.
Brute wyverns with disproportionately long tails. They spread a flammable substance, then ignite it by dragging their tails along the ground.
First question. What's the flammable substance?
Gravy.
Chicken grease.
Chicken grease.
Yeah.
Gravy's not flammable, it just destroys my 3DS and stops me playing Monster Hunter 4. Don't bring up KFC gravy and Monster Hunter too close together. You'll bring back traumatic memories for me.
Make you have a flashback. I've got another question, and I've got a problem, actually. Brit wyvern. It's a fucking bird. It's a chicken.
Yeah, like...
It's the most bird a bird wyvern has ever been, but apparently it's a brute wyvern.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
more how the monster acts, right, rather than what it looks like.
Yeah. It's the body shape and stuff, because it is bulky and waxy with its tail, like a glavenus, I guess. You were saying, Jay, it reminds you of like a cross between a glavenus and an angionath.
Did I say that?
I think you did.
Must have been were hunting. I wasn't remember him saying that, so it must have not been there.
I think it was my friend... No, because I haven't fought one with you, so why would you have said it? I think it was my friend Rob, and I remember at the time being quite incredulous, because it's a very weak brother of either of those.
The
tail move.
I guess because he does the tail swipes, like with the fire. You can get a little bit from that.
I guess.
But yeah,
and it's a bit dinosaur-y and has a bird face, so I guess a little bit like Angionath. But yeah, it's much more like a old school starting monster than either of those. Ooh, big stretch.
It is a wild comparison, not one I agree with, and not an opinion I hold. So
definitely not Jay then.
No. I like this monster though. I think they have a real penchant for making firebirds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chickens specifically.
Fire chickens specifically, yeah.
Well, I think, Jas, you brought this up on an earlier monster, and I was like, and it was somewhat relevant, but it's very relevant here. Japan has a mythical fire chicken called the Basan. And that inspires Torchic, and I guess a little bit Young Kaku, but definitely this guy.
Right.
Yeah, the Wikipedia page for the Basan, I was looking at the picture, and whilst the Basan that's depicted in the Wikipedia page has got probably longer legs, I mean, everything else about it is spot on.
Yeah, it looks like the Quematrice from Monster Hunter Rise, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Now,
I, for one, love when Monster Hunter gives us feathery dinosaurs like this. And I've had this rant before, and I'll have it again. That is the most accurate depiction of dinosaurs based on current science. But most of media is too chicken to do it. Because they just want to look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
I see what you did there.
That's what the audience expects. But the reason Jurassic Park was good was because it was the most accurate dinosaurs based on their current knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad Monster Hunter's making the move towards that, right? That's...
Yeah. And this thing is kind of... if this thing attacked you in the night, it wouldn't not be scary because it has feathers. It looks pretty horrifying. With its chicken jowls and that. But yeah, I think this monster is plenty scary, even for having feathers and a chicken face.
Mm.
The question is, look, could you beat it in a fight?
No. He does fire in that.
He does fire in that. Certainly does. Certainly does.
I think you'd give it a fair old good go, though.
I'd give it. I'd be like Rocky 1 Rocky. I wouldn't be like Rocky 2 Rocky.
So you'd survive.
I'd get my licks in. I'd win the public's hearts.
And as we saw in our hunt in Rocky 4, the Raffian dragon will come along and take him out.
Is it spoilers?
Meme now of like Rocky Balboa chasing a Quematrice, like he chases the chicken in one of the films.
Is it spoilers to say Raffian's in the game? I mean, you can cut this if you want, but I think absolutely not.
No. But I was, because I'd made it all the way through low rank and was like, is Raffian not in the game? And I saw like the no bitches meme on Instagram, but it was like, no Rathians?
But the old Rathian popped up during our hunt though, so.
Yeah, well, they're going to see it in the video part, so. Spoilers for next week.
Yeah.
Very cool Tar 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like from a game design standpoint, I mean, this is obviously them trying to teach new players about blights, right?
Yeah. There's always... It's a pretty common, first monster has no element, then they bring in one that has an element but doesn't overdo it, as like your little introduction.
Yeah, and like fire elements, the easiest blight to kind of recover from.
Mm-hmm. Especially where you fight them as well, because often, mind you, a new player will probably fight them during the fallow state of the Windward Plains, right? And I don't know if there's going to be water there at that point still. I can't remember.
I think there is a little bit, but it's like right in the middle part of that first area.
Mm-hmm. Whereas there's definitely more when they're in the plenty, right? I could be wrong.
I'm sure you're right. But yeah, there's definitely the grass is everywhere. And he can... Because when we were hunting him just now, he was setting the grass on fire around us, which was really cool. You could see like the battlefield where our battle had happened. Like showing more and more destruction as it went. That's a really nice little touch. Very sort of Breath of the Wildy. Fires everywhere. And you can kind of do it to monsters as well when you attack them with a fire weapon. I don't think it's doing huge damage to like have the grass on fire, but it certainly looks cool.
Yeah, I think that's like a big thing. Like seen that with people who use gun lance. They make like fire from shell attacks, like generally kind of sets the ground on fire.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting, like from a design standpoint, like the tail. They actually talk about this in the item description for the tail. The pleats on the tail, like scrape together to create sparks to actually ignite the fluid that it emits. So they build that into the actual design of this.
Yeah.
The mystery substance.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's one thing that has come back that's probably worth us like taking a look at with like future monsters is like bits that you carve off have got like more unique descriptions to them now.
They definitely do. Yeah, I was looking at that for Tessacabra. There was anything Chatacabra in the last episode. If there's anything of note in there, but it just talks about the coating on the arms, but covering it with rocks and stuff. So nothing that unique. But yeah, it actually does explain how it sets the fluid on fire. It's not actually releasing flame like a Rathalos or a Rathian would. It's chucking out the viscous, mysterious fluid, and then setting it on fire with its sharp tail. Maybe the Glavinus comparison was on point.
Have we talked before about the Rain of Fire dragon situation?
I no.
But the film Rain of Fire had the dragons, like they have, when you breathe fire, you can see like there's two little sprays of gas and they combine and it makes fire. And then like basically every movie that's had a dragon in it since then has ripped off that effect. And there was an interview with the director, and he was talking about like, yeah, pretty much every week one of my old crew sends me a text saying like, oh, just saw it in another film. They're doing your effect.
Guy must feel
like,
good for that, right?
Oh, yeah. And it is, like, if you want to show a dragon breathing fire and have it look realistic on screen, that's pretty much the way to do it. Pretty sure the Rathalos does it in the film of this.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just a really good visual on it when you do that.
Yep.
You can see why it's become like a standard thing.
There was actually a little bit that I think was missed out of the description of the Quematrice. It talks a little bit more about how it hunts its prey. It says that they rarely hunt their own prey and instead scavenge herbivore carrion left behind by other predators. This often leads to confrontations with other smaller carnivores. So it's basically it's a bit vulture-like in that regard.
That's why the wee little tally off like bird wyverns like attack the Quematrice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They sort of
It's actually
scavenge
baked
like
into
the Ceratin off like herbivores.
yeah, the cat.
They're fighting between for their dinner. Nice.
Quematrice comes in and is like, nope, that's mine. But it must not be strong enough to get his own food.
Well, they constantly go back and forth on whether the T-Rex was like this alpha predator or this like pathetic scavenger. And it's like, you know, the old joke in the UK that like the Daily Mail will have a headline on Friday that wine causes cancer, and then a headline on Saturday that wine cures cancer. And it's like dinosaur scientists will put out a paper that says the T-Rex was a predator, and then some other scientists will put out a paper the next day saying that it was a scavenger. It's like they're really back and forth on that. But like, yeah, the chicken is, you know, basically the closest living relative of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The Tyrannosaurus is closer related to a chicken than it is to a Stegosaurus. So, yeah, the Quematrice is sort of taking that T-Rex size, and in a fight, it's like you think of the T-Rex as this cool predator. But yeah, in its behavior, it's the T-Rex as the little scavenger.
We also spoke about this on The Hunt, but it's an example of a monster that has not just a breakable but a severable tail. So it kind of breaks in two parts before you cut it off.
Yes. Well, it's a big old tail, right? And also, breaking its tail takes away one of its main offensive options. So there's a reason it has to take 2 hits to get it.
It's interesting. It's something that I'm, again, going back to a monster that we spoke about already in this episode, I'm surprised they haven't baked into Rathian at this point.
Because, yeah, her tail poisoning you is one of
the hitboxes on the Rathian seems to be better after you cut the tail. Like, I've rarely got hit by
easier
it.
to dodge.
Yeah,
same. Which makes me think, why isn't the tail harder to cut on a Rathian than it is? Because it is fairly difficult to, I mean, it takes a good bit of beating on the Quematrice.
But I guess the Rathian's tail is like a thinner tail, right? It looks like it should cut off.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's also a like, it's a classic monster that's always had that tail and that tail cut. I'm sure there would be some pushback if they changed it too much. So, the name of the monster, the Quematrice. Obviously, the second half of that, well, the first half is Quema, which is just like Spanish for burn.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fire one.
Yeah.
And then the Atrice bit comes from Cockatrice, which is the sort of European fantasy creature, which is like a wyvern with a chicken's head. So perfect.
Yep.
And so I always get confused between the Cockatrice and the Basilisk, and there's like a whole Wikipedia page on confusion between Cockatrice and Basilisk. So it's not just me. Because the basilisk is apparently made by, like, a toad inseminating a chicken egg, and it can be killed by hearing a rooster's cry. But it's usually not depicted as very chicken-like. It's more like a big snake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the cockatrice is a similar monster, but actually depicted with chicken elements.
Yes, I think I always get confused with a cockatrice and a chimera, which I think has got the lion's head and the...
Yeah, chimera is like a bunch of creatures put together.
Yeah.
And then it's used as like a generic term for a bunch of things put together.
Yeah, big Frankenstein of a monster. Yeah.
I was reading an article with a student recently about, like, basically how it's stupid to try and make gender a binary because it's scientifically not in so many ways. And they use the term chimera for when someone is born with, like, basically, some people just have the cells from two twins, but they were put together into one person instead of making two people.
Mm-hmm.
And they use the word chimera for that.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
armor
Treece
sets.
part as well, I was going to say, like, before we kind of plan it to move on or anything, the Treece part is also, like, it's also a Monster Hunter, like, naming convention, because you had Hypnocatrice from 3D Unite.
Yes. Which was also a slightly bird-like creature, right?
Because
Because it had
sleep
like, sort of a...
bird wyvern, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that was probably also hinting towards the real-life cockatrice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely saw people hinting like, "Oh, I hope that means we're gonna get the."
Yeah.
Because there was also
The Hypnoc fans come out with the woodwork and like, give me this monster back.
What's the one that cools other monsters? Is that the?
Oh, the one that does the devil joke call.
Yeah.
Oh, the Kurapeko.
Kurapeka. Okay, it's not a treat.
Yeah, it's not true.
Because I would like to see that one. That one would make so much sense with the whole like
Yeah, that would be great.
living worlds thing that they're so
Yeah,
obsessed with. Yeah, if it could just, they could change the mechanic so it just cools, and every monster that's already in the map just comes to your location.
Yeah, big
If
massive
we're,
like, turf war. Yeah.
If we're talking about
A real monster mash.
bird monsters want to come back, it'll forever always be Malfestio for me.
That's a good choice.
Ah, Mephisto is great.
Great design. Nice reverse your controls mechanic with the confusion status. You think it would do that for like focus mode?
Yeah, you'll just feel so the Quematrice armor.
Very Dark Souls.
Yeah, like the I guess the female set actually reminds me almost a bit of like a bit of Melania. Maybe just it's just the golden helmet, perhaps.
Yeah, well, it covers the eyes and stuff as well. Yeah,
but the male set's a bit cowboy-y because it's got a poncho. It feels like, and then the hat.
Like, three musketeers as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's probably closer, right? Because it's got.
They're going for like
the
European
hat.
knights, I think.
Yeah, like a musketeer's definitely the right.
Oh yeah, that's big musketeer vibe. But I can see if you put the poncho by itself
and took the feather off the hat.
Yeah, it's a little bit cowboy. But no, the whole thing, that's. I've noticed a lot of armor sets have like a sword on the waist, but it's not your actual weapon. It's like, is that your sword for fighting people? Because
it's interesting, right? Because
it's like I think it's the carving sword. Like I actually read something earlier on. Someone was saying that each kind of depending on the waist piece that you equip, your carving sword is different.
I have noticed the carving sword changes because there are some scenes like in the final boss, she does something with her carving sword in the cutscene, and I've seen that cutscene twice with 2 different swords.
Mhm.
And in the tent, you can play with your cat, and sometimes you'll get the knife out,
Yeah.
and like the 2 of you will look at it. So I could do an experiment right now. I'm in the Quematrice armor. I'm gonna get in the tent and see what knife she gets out when she plays with the Palika.
It's a whole bloody sword. Just you talking about it being used for humans made me think of The Witcher. You know,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The silver for monsters
for
and
monsters, steel for
steel
humans.
for humans. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
But
it's
like,
a
yeah,
fire.
they don't fight humans much in Monster Hunter. That's sort of
Is it even
Uma even says it
mentioned
explicitly,
at all?
right? She says,
We never turn our weapons upon others or something like that.
yeah, no, the she got out a knife, and it's not necessarily the same one as some other armor sets, but it's
Right.
not the little.
I think
sword
they're just
that I hit.
technically. I think the person was saying
Yeah.
it's not what equals to what's on the waist piece, but like
Yeah.
just the carving knife in general is a bit different.
Yeah,
But the Quematrice like waist piece there as well. Like it's only the female version that has the sword on
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, interesting.
It's because the male piece has got a pistol under that poncho.
it.
Gonna
Is that a
Indiana
pistol
Jones
under your poncho, or are you just happy to see me?
They're definitely cool sets. Like they're
Yeah,
sets
cool
that I would
sets.
be interested in making for the. I'm just gonna say this to piss off Luke. I'm gonna make them potentially to make layered sets. So
Well, that's the whole.
I had my cat in that
Mechanic,
set
right?
for a while as well. It's pretty cute.
oh, the Palico set. I've not actually seen the Quematrice Palico set.
Yeah, it has like the same sort of like a little squire poncho and big feathery hat and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a little.
So we look pretty good running around together.
Oh yeah, I can see it there. That's cute.
Oh, and he's got his weapons, the banner, like spear.
Yeah,
That's
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
he's my banner man.
Yeah, that set like with the what's the name of the coats they wear? There's a specific name for them. Surcoat, yeah, the surcoat that he's wearing.
Oh, good pull.
Like that's cool. Definitely going for the whole night vibe there. Which means
Yeah.
the male set feels like the one that's out of place, right?
Well, I mean,
It's still technically be
The,
a knight, right? It's just like a knight from.
yeah. Like
some
the
period.
Musketeers are just a particular
I
group of
suppose.
knights from a certain period of France. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
suppose.
read the Three Musketeers just recently for the Pokemon podcast.
Do you know there's 4 of them? Crazy.
Yeah. Very quickly, the 4th one joins. He's the main character.
Yep.
It's such a shonen anime of a book. It's just about 4 idiots going around picking fights with people, and then always winning because they're the toughest guys in the kingdom.
I mean, the real best adaptation is the Three Musketeers.
Yep. And then a little more shagging than you usually get in a shonen anime. Because they're a
in-
bunch of French knights. Yeah, the
And Mickey
Musketeers.
Mouse version.
Yeah.
What's
He's
Goofy up
at
to?
it like a mouse, you know.
Oh, Goofy has canonically shagged.
Yeah. Either twice or once, and Jessica Rabbit is the mother. Because in Roger Rabbit, she says, "You're even better than Goofy."
Well, I think on that note,
Well, it's
talking
time
about
for Listener Corner. Speaking of shaggers, friend of the show Chris Massafdas-Pangili has been in touch. He says, very on topic for this podcast so far, what herbs and spices would go best with this fire chicken? Well, of course, I don't know the 11 herbs and spices of the Colonel's recipe, because that is a closely guarded secret. And Andy's not here to list his top 10 herbs for us, and somehow put mint above thyme or basil.
I was thinking,
Just
with it being a hot spicy chicken, maybe a bit of paprika.
Yeah. Actually,
Bit of,
like, I do love a lemon chicken. So just a little... I know that's not a herb or a spice, but just a little salt and pepper and then some lemon goes a long way.
Or you can go
Maybe
like
some
in-game ingredients, celled garlic, a little bit of monster chili.
Oh, that sounds good. Should I just go full white man and... Ladies and gentlemen, once again, salt and pepper!
He's done it again! Colouring masterpiece! I'd imagine the Quematrice would be quite tough, though. You won't eat that.
Yeah, I mean, people eat alligator.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's...
Bigger than its
Close to
tail,
tomato.
as it
People
looks
eat
a bit leathery.
fucking anything.
That's true. People do be eating stuff.
So, next time, we're off to the Scarlet Forest to fight Lala Barina. So make sure and join us for that one. Until then, Luke, where can we be found?
You can find this podcast on Blue Sky at Podcast, and you can find links to the other podcasts we make by going to podcastios.org. Of course, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You already know that because you're listening, but please do rate and review, like and subscribe. Share this with your friends who are into Monster Hunter. We've just come back, so we're probably not very high in the algorithms at the moment. Good thing this is not our day job. And
Because we'd be scared.
if you want to help support the podcast and keep it online, you can go to patreon.com/podcastios.
You can make it our day job.
Yeah,
Take a
if
lot.
you want.
Take a lot of support.
And you know, it's mostly just for keeping the uploads and everything covered, but you can donate as little or as much as you want. So if you're rich and you're listening to this, just chuck $1,000 on there. Why not? Do it. We deserve it. We've been doing this for 10 years. We deserve a tip.
Fuck me, it's nearly been 10 years. Yeah, wow.
It'll be 10 years next year, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's crazy.
Give or take a few breaks of a couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But, you know, that's on Capcom.
Also, one of the breaks was caused more by me moving to Japan than by Capcom.
Yeah. I blame Capcom. They got you into...
They got me into Monster Hunter, yeah.
Yeah. It's still their fault. And as a reminder, because we never mentioned it during Listener Corner, but if you have any just general questions about Monster Hunter, or you want to, make some comments or ask a question about a monster that's to come, or a monster that we've already spoken about.
Or you want to
you
correct
can
something we got
contact us.
wrong?
Which, don't do that, because probably it's a lot. But you can get in touch with us on all the methods Luke spoke about earlier.
Yes.
And on that note, we'll catch you next time.
Cheerio.
Perfection.